Okay, welcome to the SolidWorks Lesson 2 video tutorial. I'm going to show you how to make this assembly right here. And this is Lesson 2, and basically what this is that it takes the part that we made in Lesson 1, and we're going to make another part in this lesson, and we're going to combine them together into an assembly to make this little box here. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the other part that goes in this assembly. We're going to go to File, we're going to click New, and then we're going to click Part. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we're not in inches, pounds, and second. We want to make sure that we're in millimeters, grams, and seconds. Because that was the same units that we used for our first part, and if we keep it in inches, pounds, and seconds, it's not going to match up at all. And unfortunately, there's no way to really easily convert all of your measurements to what they need to be. It's going to cause you a lot of errors when you try to do that. So, making sure that we're in millimeters, grams, seconds, we're going to move on forward. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Extruded Boss/Base. And so once we click on that, it's going to ask us, where do we want to start sketching? And we're going to click on the front plane. So now that we're in the front plane, we're in the sketch mode. We're going to click on the corner rectangle tool. And then just like in the first part, we're going to make sure that we're on the origin, and we're going to click and draw our square. And then we're going to use Smart Dimensions to define it. And just like the first part, we're going to make it 120 millimeters. All right. Then we're going to click the green check mark over here, and then we're going to go up here and click Exit Sketch. Now, if you did this all smoothly, then it's going to immediately try to extrude. If not, then you can just go up to the Features tab and you can click Extrude Boss/Base and select your sketch. So now that it's extruding, we're going to change this from 10 to 90. All right, next we're going to add some fillets to these corners. So we're going to go up here, we're going to click Fillet, and then we're going to individually select each of these edges. And we're going to change our view so we can get this last edge over here. And you'll see we have our 4 edges selected here. Now, something to note here is that the tutorial tells you to make the fillet 10 millimeters, but this is wrong. Because if you remember from our first part, this fillet that we did on these outside edges was 5 millimeters. So if we want it to line up well in the assembly and make it, very smooth, we need to change this to 5 millimeters. So ignore when the tutorial tells you to make this fillet 10 millimeters because it's just not going to match up in the assembly. Then we're going to click the green check mark. Now we have our fillet, and we're going to make a shell. And we're going to click this front face. And then you can see we added that face over here. And then for the parameters, we want to make this 4 millimeters. We click OK, and now we have a shell of our part. So what we're going to do next is a little bit complicated, but I'll try to describe it as we're going through it. So first we're gonna zoom in a little bit right here. And then we're gonna click on this, we're gonna unselect our zoom tool, and we're gonna click on this face here. And then we're gonna go over to our sketch tab, and we're gonna click sketch. Oh, my bad. We're gonna click on this face here, and we're gonna go to the Features tab, and we're gonna click Extruded Cut. And so what that does is it throws us into the Sketch tab. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna click Convert Entities. So basically, what we're gonna do here is we're going to select all of these edges on the outside of our square here. Okay, let me restart that part. SolidWorks is not behaving. I think it did do what I wanted it to do, but I messed up. Messed up what I was talking about. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom in on this corner here. And then we are going to we're going to unselect our view tool, or zoom in tool, and then we're going to select this face here. And then we're going to go up to the Features tab, and we're going to click Extruded Cut. So that's going to throw us into the sketch mode. From here, we're going to click Convert Entities. So what Convert Entities does is it basically makes this outer edge that goes all the way around our piece, it's going to convert that into a sketch. So from there, we've got it all converted already just by using the Convert Entities tool. Now we're going to click Offset Entities. And so when we click Offset Entities, we're just going to click the edge of our part, and you're going to see that this yellow line is a projection of what the offset sketch is going to be. So we need this to be on the inside. So we're going to click the reverse box over here, make sure that's checked. And then you see that it's now on the inside, but we want to make this right on this surface in here. So we're going to change this from 10 to 2. And you want to see that it's on this surface here before you proceed. So once you got that, you're going to go ahead and click OK. And now we have a sketch that goes along the inside here that's perfectly centered. So now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead and click Exit Sketch. And if everything was done correctly, you'll see that it's immediately trying to do an extruded cut. And what we want to do is we want to set this to blind. We want to make sure direction 1 is set to blind. And then, let's change our view. And then we want to set this distance to 20. You can see it cuts just a little bit down. And then you want to make sure that your cut is on the outside and not on the inside of this box. So if we click the green check, we want to make sure that we have the step on the outside and not on the inside. So that's all we have to do to make this part here. And we're going to go up here to File, and we're going to save. And we're just going to save this as Tutor 2.1. Oh, and one last thing that it wants us to do is that it wants us to see that we can change the color of this part if we'd like to. So to do that, we're going to click on the name up here. And then we're going to go over here, click Edit Appearance. And then it wants us to pick a color out from here. And so you can take a look at all the different options they have. I'm just going to click this orange, and then I'm going to click the green check mark. And then this window stays open. It's kind of annoying, so to get it to go away, you can just hover over the edge until you get those little side arrows, and then just drag it in. And then I'm going to go ahead and save my part again. Just going to replace the other one. There we go. And now we're going to make an assembly. So what it wants us to do is to have both of our parts open at the same time before we make the assembly. So you'll see that if I click this option here that says click to tile right, it's going to minimize that window and it's going to push it to the right. And so we can see that I have my tutor 2 open over here. But I want to open up tutor 1 as well. So I'm going to go up to File and click Open. Then I'm going to click on tutor 1.1. I'm going to open that up. You'll see that opens it up on top of it. And we can't see... Well, actually, I think I have the wrong one open. So it wants us to have both of our parts open. So I'm going to go up to File, I'm going to click Open. I'm going to go ahead and click on tutor 1. And so you can see it has tutor 1 open here. And if we click to tile left, then you'll see that we have both of them open at the same time. Now that we have both of them open, we're going to go ahead and move on to the assembly. So we're going to click New, and then we're going to click Assembly. We're going to click OK. And so now over here, it shows us the 2 parts that we have open already in the background. So, and it's going to ask you, what do you want to insert into your assembly? So we're going to click on tutor 1. Then if we go here, you'll see that we can just place tutor 1 anywhere. But before we place it here, we want to click on this little thumbtack over here to keep this visible. And so what that's going to do is going to keep this window open so that after we place tutor 1, we can just select tutor 2 and then place that here as well. So I'm just going to click and place that there. And now I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to click tutor 2.1, and then I'm going to hover over here and I'm going to drop it right there. So now that I have that, I have one of each of my tutors. I'm going to click the green check mark up here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make mates for these 2 parts that we have here so that they line up perfectly. So we're going to add 3 mates. We're going to make sure that we're in the Assembly tab, and then we're going to go up here where it says Mate, the little paperclip guy. And so here in this blue box, it tells you what edges or faces you have selected. So what we want to select is this top edge right here, and we want to select the top edge up here. And we want to zoom in, make sure that we've got the right edge selected. I'm going to hover over that edge, and then you'll see it automatically lines them up. So now that we have those 2 lined up, we want to make sure that coincident is selected. It's the default, I think, so it should automatically be selected, but you can change it here or you can change it over here. Then we're going to click OK. Now, if you click OK twice, that's going to exit out of the mating tool that we have up here. So, and if you exit out of there and you click on one of these parts, you can actually drag it around and you can see all its degrees of freedom that it has and how it can move. And so you'll see that we can't move it away from that edge, but we can move it like side and side, and we can like rotate it around. So what we want to do is we want to add 2 more mates so that we can't drag it around anymore. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to deselect any faces that we had selected already, and we're going to go up to mate. I'm going to click that. We're going to make sure that this box over here is empty. If you have something in there that you didn't mean to select, you can click on it over here and hit delete on your keyboard. So we want to select this side over here and this side right here. And so what that's going to do is going to make both of these faces in the same plane. We're going to make sure that coincident is selected over here. I'm going to click the green check mark. And now, if you try to drag it around, you'll see we can't drag it to the side anymore. Now it's like kind of stuck on a hinge and it kind of like rotates around. So we're going to add one more mate to keep it from doing that. We're going to click mate, and then we're going to click this top face here and this top face here. And you'll see that it automatically lines them up. And then we're going to click the green check mark. And then we're going to click it again, and that's going to exit out of the mating tool that we have. And then if you try and click and drag it around, you'll see that it's no longer going to move. And that means that they're all, it's mated properly, it's stuck in place. So the last thing that we're going to do is, the tutorial walks you through a way to add a display state, which isn't entirely necessary, but it's a thing that you can do. What it wants you to do is click this arrow over here, and that opens up these options here. And then you're going to click on this cube for tutor 2. And then you're going to click on hidden lines visible. And then after you do that, you're going to right click anywhere. And then you're going to go down here where it says add display state. And you're just going to name this whatever you want to name it. And so then you're just going to go ahead and collapse this. And you can click this here, and you can right click it. Wait a minute. You're going to right click on this arrow over here, my bad. And you're going to click display state 1. And that's going to change your display state. I think I did this wrong. Yeah, I did. So the last thing that this tutorial is going to walk you through is how to add display states. And to do that, you're going to click on this arrow that's right here, and that's going to open up this menu. And from here, you're going to just right click anywhere in this area, and you're going to click add display state. And you can name this whatever you want to name it. And then so after you name it, just hit enter. And so that's gonna make a new display state, which is basically a different way that you can view your assembly here. And so you're gonna go over to tutor 2, where this block is, and you're gonna click it. And then you're gonna click on hidden lines visible. So what that does is that makes the hidden lines, or it makes that part hidden lines visible for this display state. So what you can do is you can collapse this, And then if you want to change the display state, you can right click on that arrow, you can click on display state 1, and that's going to show you your original display state. But if I want to go back to the one that has the hidden lines visible, then I can right click on it again and click on the display state that I just made, and it's going to bring that back up. So that's the end of this lesson. Next, I'm going to be doing lesson 3.